Hello,
Hey, it's Al from TSO. How are you, buddy?
Al Pitrelli. Ethan, back with you again. How are you, my friend?
It's good to hear your voice, Ethan. How's everything been? How's the family?
Everything is awesome. And how is your family, buddy?
They're doing great. Thank you so much for asking.
Fantastic.
The kids are back in school. The wife is working. I'm on the phone with you. It's the best day ever. What do you think?
I was about to say it's got to be the best day ever. What does the wife do? Because you being a touring musician, your schedule is all over the place. Does she have one of those normal jobs?
Oh, God, no. She's in real estate. Her schedule's crazier than mine.
Well, at least you married the right people then. You understand, right?
True that. Yeah. I can never complain that she's on the phone or she's at work or doing. It's like anything else, dude. It's like when work's there, you do what you got to do. She loves her job. She's out and about doing her thing. And, most of the year, it's the same thing with me. I'm either down in Tampa by you working on new material with TSO or getting ready for the tour or, it's a busy household, but it's a good household and the kids are enjoying it.
How much of the year do you actually spend down here in Tampa?
Well, quite a bit. I mean, back in the day, before I met my wife, we've been together about 10 years. I was probably down there, 8 months a year, 9 months a year, working with Paul around the clock, doing new recordings, working on the tour and all that stuff. And then when I met Nicole, things slowed down just a little bit. But, I'm down there quite a bit. I love it down that way.
Is this where you guys also set up sort of the pre-show staging and put things together here in Tampa, or do you do that elsewhere?
We used to do it down that way between Tampa and back in the day, we'd go to the Lakeland Civic Center and work out of there for a while. But for the last, I forget how many years it's been, but we've been setting up camp over in Omaha, Nebraska, because it's a little bit more centrally located in the middle of the country, so we can kind of shoot out and hit some different areas that aren't like real long drives.
Yeah, it's too bad because I was saying, you should let some of your favorite media personalities like myself swing by and see what you got in store from behind the scenes and check out some of the rides and flames and stuff.
Well, listen, that's not out of the question. Even, we've had people come up to Omaha and do the similar thing. We always want to do a dog and pony show for our closest friends and let them kind of see what's going on behind the curtain. COVID kind of put an end to that. Until we get a clean bill of health across the board, we're keeping that down to a minimum. So I'm not sure when, my brother, but I'd love to have you. You know that.
Absolutely. And just so you know, in advance, I'm double vaccinated, so we're good to go there.
You and me both. So, good Lord.
As always, TSO's got the two different groups that tour the country so that you guys can hit as many markets as possible, as close to the holidays as possible. So who's in the band now? Have there been any big change-ups or shake-ups since last year?
No, not a one. I'm kind of a creature of habit, and you got such a good band with such a great chemistry. I don't want to change one ingredient. If you change one, it kind of changes the whole vibe of the thing. So, no, we're in pretty good shape. I mean, most of these folks have been with me for the better part of 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, and you guys have that show down pat.
They're dying to throw me out, but I'm going to stick around.
I think if they throw you out, it's like you cannot throw out the head of the ship there, the guy that kind of it created the whole thing. It was all you and Paul to begin with, probably a lot of Paul and a little bit of Al going, let's do that. That's cool. Let's blow things up. And then, but you're still running the show.
Well, listen, it was Paul, his wife, the family. It was just, I was just so proud and pleased to be part of something so cool. And my job was to always keep, the musical integrity on point for the live show. So now I'm just playing with you, man. We got a great band and a great bunch of people with us. And, it's like a family out there, so like even last year, man, against all odds with everything that was going upside down with COVID and all that other stuff, we hit the finish line. Bit of a nail biter, but, mission accomplished, and we had a great run of it. And this year, I'm sure it's going to be a lot less stressful and a lot less anxious. And I just want to go out and have a great time. And I can't wait because Tampa's a hometown show for us. And to do two shows again is a dream come true all these years.
You were talking about the wife is working and the kids are back in school. Do you ever get, and I know everybody's got really busy schedules, but do you ever get the chance to take them on the road for a date or two here and there with you or fly them out?
Yeah, historically, they would always come out for Christmas. So I'd always have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. Nicole and the kids would come out, and then they come to the show the next day. Again, in 2020, there was no tour, and last year they had us kind of in a pretty tight bubble, so it didn't happen. And I think this year they're going to stay home again. We just give it one more year. I'm not sure if we're going to have guests or allowed to have guests or not. So we're not going to plan anything for the tour. We'll get together right after the tour.
Are your kids at that point where they're like, my dad's got the coolest job in the world, he's a rock star, or have they surpassed that and they're like, ugh, my dad again?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, my three boys are all grown up and they have great careers. So they were kind of little when this whole thing started. And they're kind of like, yeah, dad's kind of cool for an old guy. My daughters are 11 and 6. So they're kind of like, you're so weird.
I know. I keep trying to tell my kids I'm cool because I'm on the radio. And they're like, yeah, sorry, that's not happening.
Yeah, no, there's a point where like you're like the king of the world and then you're not cool and then you kind of get your cool back. So I'm in that transition stage with the girls right now.
You guys, when you are on stage, the entire band and, of course, the local orchestra that you bring in, you're all dressed to the nines when you play. And the men, especially in full tuxedos. So I got two questions about that. Are those a special fabric that doesn't get super hot on stage because you're close to all the fire and have all the lights on you? And are they flame retardant because you get close to the fire and have all the lights on you?
Well, they're not a special material, so it's hot up there. Hot is hot. So fortunately we have a couple tuxes each because they get kind of stanky after a minute. But it looks like we're right on top of the flames, but that's the production that our department heads create. We're not that close, and everybody's real safe from it. There's never been, I don't want to jinx ourselves, but there's never been one incident, not even close to a glitch. We rehearse so much musically as a band. The only people that work harder than us is the crew to make sure that they're flawless in their execution of the production. No margin for error, no room for mistakes, and we've never had one. They are the best of the best, and we could not do our jobs without them.
Yeah, I know you guys obviously have tons of room between you and the pyro. Just safety is always first. But having been to probably a dozen Trans-Siberian Orchestra shows now at multiple different locations throughout different arenas, I can feel the fire, and I'm like 20, 30 rows back. So I know it's hot as hell up there for you.
Joke. Oh, no joke, dude. It's when they hit those flashes, it's just like, okie dokie.
Do you have gigantic?
Like, like when you're out, you open your barbecue just to check how your meal's coming. You get that blast of hot air, man. It's like that times 10. So. But it's so cool. I remember when we first started doing pyro years ago. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I mean, now I grew up in the the late '60s, early '70s, going to see like Kiss and AC/DC and all these bands, and like first time you saw Kiss was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
How many times have you, whether it was back when it was you and Paul or you now doing the show, have you thought, okay, we would love to do this with fireworks and pyro, and they were like, no, man, you'll burn the building down. Like that's just too much.
Listen, every year for years, that's exactly the conversation Paul would have with his production heads. He would have these ideas, and they're like, "You can't do that." And he goes, "Oh, really?" I remember this one year, years ago. He wanted all the lights synced up to the song "Wizards in Winter." And like every guitar part, every keyboard run, everything. And they're like, "You can't do it." He goes, "Really?" And he pulled up, in the early days of YouTube, this dude somewhere in Ohio, who like with a staple gun and a ladder from Home Depot did exactly that. He had every light synchronized to every note of that song. And he's like, listen, this guy could do it, for $80. I'm sure we could figure it out. And they're like, yeah, okay, sorry, boss, you're right. And, listen, Paul had a vision. And everybody in the organization learned that, okay, let's see this vision come to fruition. He and his family would come up with these ideas. And our job is like, absolutely, we'll make this happen,
You guys are, once again, you're bringing out the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, and then you do sort of the let's have some fun part for the second half. Do you change out which big songs you do in the middle of the Ghost section? Because like sometimes you'd had Wizards in there, and sometimes you saved it for the second half. Is that always kind of rotating?
Yeah, we like to move everything around. A lot of the folks that come see us, I affectionately refer to them as our repeat offenders, have been coming to see us for decades now. Now, they want to see the familiar portion of the show. They want their tradition intact, so we give them their story. But the front of the show and the whole back of the show, we're constantly like changing things up, surprising people, putting different songs in different areas, to accommodate new production. So we want it to look different and sound different all the time. Yet there's the familiarity of the story that everybody's fallen in love with.
On this year's show, without divulging any big secrets, what can you say is the biggest part of the new production you're doing that you're personally excited to show off to the crowd? Is there something special that you're like, I can't wait till you see this?
I'm going to say I can't wait till you see this, but hand on my heart, I have absolutely no idea what it is. I won't know until I get to production rehearsals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the department heads keep everything kind of really tight and quiet until we actually see it for the first time, and then we'll be able to rehearse with it for about 3 weeks. So if I gave you any other answer, I'd be lying, brother. So listen, when I walk into that arena at the Mid-America Center for the first time, I feel like a 15-year-old kid sneaking into the Madison Square Garden all over again. Except this time I'm not getting thrown out by the cops. I walk in, it's exciting. You'll see all the trucks, the buses, the crews, cases, and just I can't wait to see what they got in store for us this year.
Well, hopefully when you guys roll through the area in December, I'll get to come out and see you pre-show, maybe do some video and be like, you can't wait to see this live later on the night or whatever. It'd be a great chance. I know COVID would be a little crazy, but if it's available, I'd love to do that. As always, thanks for calling in, Al. You're a great time and a good friend.
Yeah, as are you, my brother. Much love and respect to you and the family. Stay safe. And any way we can make it happen where we get together for a while, I'd love